New York holds the largest cluster of African immigrants in the nation. From the East Coast to the West Coast, you find clusters of African immigrant communities in Houston, in Atlanta, in Minneapolis, just to mention a few. With these clusters of African immigrants in different cities, we still do not have a lot of research on them. There is some research that discusses the identity development of the children that are born to these immigrants. There is also some research discussing the impact of immigration on the men in this community, and there is also some research discussing domestic violence, or IPV, on the women in this community. My study will be exploring the lived experiences of the women in this community in order to understand how the stresses that they face, how it impacts them positively and negatively, and by extension their families. My study will also be looking at the coping strategies that this population uses. There are currently 2.7 million immigrants in the US, and these numbers are projected to go high. And so if these numbers will be going high, it becomes important for us to be able to learn, learn a little more about this community, about this population, and two, to be able to provide information that will give professionals a little bit more understanding about this community. And so my research comes in that the hope for my research is to, like I've mentioned, one, give us an opportunity to learn a little more about African immigrant families and African immigrants in the US, and two, to also provide more understanding to professionals that provide and will be providing services to this community. So moving forward in my study, I'll be getting ready soon to collect data, and I'll be collecting my data through interviews. And after my interviews, I hope to be able to analyze my data to be able to find the common themes in the stories that these women will be sharing with me. And the goal and the hope and the goal of my study is that through recognizing or through finding the common threads and themes within their stories, we're able to answer the question that my study posed, which is one, to understand how the stresses that African immigrant women face and how it impacts them, and by extension their families, and two, to also be able to understand the coping strategies that they use. And in order to answer this question, when we're able to answer these questions, we're able to provide professionals with a better understanding so that the services that are provided to these families and to this community will be one of quality.